Hi, Marc from NextMinute here. I'm going to take you through the NextMinute residential construction job pricing template that we have put together as a free download resource for all the sort of builders out there. While this is, I guess, not quite as automated or fully functional as a system like NextMinute, what it does is allows a construction company, a pricing person, whoever, to put together a tender or a pricing that they can then create a quote out of for a job. I'll run through what it is you can use on the sheet and how you can then output a quote or invoice from it. So let's jump right in. At the very top, there is an editable box with your margin in it, and just be aware that this sheet is for your pricing. This is not visible or should not be visible to the client. So this box you can update and it will change the margin across all items in the spreadsheet. So if I change it to 15%, you can see down below all the margins change. You will notice that I've actually pre-filled this one out, that some of them haven't changed, and that is because as we work down the sheet, we can change the margins, the margin percent on any individual item. So for things that you're not charging a margin on, maybe it's just a review of the plans or something, you can then change that rate. You can always push it back to 5% or whatever you want, and it'll update the pricing accordingly. Again, now, so for each thing down or each item down the left hand side, I'll just move this out of the way. We've split it out into sort of general categories across what would be a typical residential build. So we've got your general items, site prep, demo, footings, coming into water and sewer, the utilities, and then interior and exterior cladding, and any sort of subby work that might go on with electrical and plumbing, etc., etc. Okay, so, and then for each thing in each section, so each item in each section, you have the ability to just leave them as they are, or you can update the titles as you see fit. So if this doesn't quite work for your job, then you can just change the titles and the pricing and it will come out. So say if it's other, it could be something like travel or whatever, right? The next column over is for any sort of subby or contractor or vendor that you might use for that specific item. It's good to keep tabs, especially if you're getting fixed prices on things. So in this section you can see I've got the drafting box, which would be our drafting company that we're using, and they have quoted us this fixed amount for the draft, and we have added our margin and it's come through on our budget. If we read across here as well at the top, we've got our labour rate, so that's the amount of hours we spend, and then the cost per hour, and then we've got our materials that we use on that item as well. Again, so if we're talking about timber, it'll be the lineal units and then the pricing per unit. But what we actually have added in here, which is sort of standard quantity surveyor sheets, would be the percentage of wastage. So for things that are fixed, like concrete or timber lengths, you usually get a little bit of wastage, so you can put in your wastage amount and it will add that to the prices. Down here's an example of this. So we've got, again, so hours, rates, which will update over here, and we've got fixed amounts as well for things like bins. Now we've got, say, plumbing and trenching or pumps. This item has both labour, it has materials, and it also has wastage, if you're buying 4.8 metre lengths of PVC or anything like that. So that will all calculate up at the end. And what this does is build up a total budget that you can see up here. And when you get through your job, so I've just gone down here and just done a couple of demo items. What it does is it passes through the consolidated amounts into a templated quote or invoice. So all the pricing that's coming from the other sheet will now come into this invoice, and you can see it has categorized them. You can come in and change the titles of everything. You could change the figures if you want, but beware that if you do that, then it's going to break the connection back to the other sheet. But what this does is it puts it into terms for the client, so it takes out all your margins and all your wastage. It also adds any GST that you want to put on. So if if you're living in a place that has a variable GST or HST or VAT or whatever, you can change this rate and it'll change the prices for you. Right, so even though this won't allow for claims or multiple claims across a job, what it can do is let you sort of get a bit of a back costing or job profitability as you go. So if you are logging all your times and you're putting in your claims for a month and you get your actuals, you can actually apply them back to the sheet, and as you go through, so let's say we've done our claims on these things through to the client. I'll actually claim all of that one. You can see what your actual costs are and then how the job is tracking. So if you're still tracking below budget, you'll see green. If you track above budget, so if you're blowing your budget, this thing will turn red. And that's about it.